something a little different. I want to show you or give you tips on how to plan a wedding on a budget. And when I say budget, I mean around $2,000 to $3,000 budget. Suggestion would be to pick a venue that is cheap. That is hard to do right now. Venues are very expensive, so you have a few different options. There's parks, there's legions, local legions you can look into, your local church, anything like that, even your backyard. You can do it in your backyard, you can do it in your grandparents' backyard, in an old barn. There's a lot of options that you leave yourself open. Don't get this idea that you have to use a lavish building, or if you can't afford that. If you can, that's great, but if you can't, there are other options. Another big one would be playlist. I know DJs can be expensive, depending on if you know someone. If you don't, if you have to hire someone, Spotify. I highly recommend getting a Spotify account. You can add what you want, take away. If you do it on the computer, you can't do this on a phone, unfortunately, on the app. But if you set it up on the computer, you can actually move the songs around, so you can put them in order for how you would like them to be played, whether it's for you as the bride to walk down the aisle, when you are pronounced husband and wife, the songs you want to play while the family and the friends are walking up to the reception, the first dance songs, just regular reception songs. You can do that with Spotify. If you would like to just hook it up to a laptop and a few little speakers, that is doable. Okay, hang with me on this. Thrift stores. I know the dress is one of the most exciting must-haves, and I'm with you, but again, utilize your resources. Look into thrift stores, look into Goodwills, look into Value Village, look at eBay. There's a lot of Thrift Up, I think that's a site. I'm not really sure. You can look into that as well. There's a lot of options for buying used dresses if you do not have $600 to $2,000 or $3,000 to spend on a dress. There are other options that you can use to not only get a dress that you can afford and that you love, but can also reuse. And that makes it even more special in my mind. So definitely consider that as well when you're looking into the dress. The cake. I know cakes can be quite expensive, so there's a few options here. One, you can always go to your local Sam's Club, Food Lion, Costco, BJ's, whatever you have, and get a tiered cake that way, a plain white tiered cake. Or you can actually do a mock cake where you use styrofoam, ice it, decorate it, and literally just buy sheet cakes to actually eat. This will save you money because wedding cakes are more expensive than regular party cakes. Bakeries typically spend a little more time, effort on detail and things like that when it comes to wedding cakes. So if you really need to save money and you really want a cake that looks really nice, but you don't have the money to pay for it, a mock cake is a really good option. So another money saver is the day you pick your wedding. So if you choose a Friday or a Saturday, you're probably going to be charged way more. If you try a Sunday or throughout the week, even at brunch, you're most likely not going to get charged as much because it's not a high time or high volume time for a wedding. So that's another way to kind of cut your prices a little bit so that you can get the wedding you want, but on a little bit more of a budget. Save the dates. I'm big on this one. So when you start looking into postage of save the dates, invites, RSVPs getting sent back to you, it can start to add up. So I recommend do save the dates online, whether it's the Knot or however you would like to do it, whatever type of portal you would like to use. If you would choose to do a save the date, I recommend doing that online. It will save you postage in the long run so that you can save that money for your actual invitations and RSVPs. As far as that, you also have other options with RSVPs. You don't have to get a mail-in RSVP. You can always do a text RSVP, use the Knot, or build some type of website to send with your invitation to say this is how we're going to get your RSVP. That's another way to save on postage because you don't have to do return postage with the RSVP. My last tip is, again, use your resources. There are Wedding on a Budget groups on Facebook. You can join. So many women and men are in the process of trying to plan a wedding on a budget at a time where everything is high, the prices are high. You can get a lot of really, really interesting and amazing ideas from those groups. So I do highly recommend you reaching out to those resources. Look on YouTube, look at forums, things like that, because you can definitely find some really amazing ideas just by reaching out to other people who are also in the process of planning their wedding. I hope that this has been insightful and helpful. I kind of was inspired to do this because I'm doing a wedding on a budget currently, and it has been a little interesting trying to navigate it. So I wanted to put a video out to help other people maybe navigate it a little easier, because when I first started planning, my brain was all over the place, and I finally had to write it all down. So I guess that's another tip. Write everything down in order. What would you like to do first? And when you have your budget and these things start to come together, you're like, oh, okay. And I just wanted to save anyone else the time, the worry, the effort, and try to go ahead and just give some tips for new brides who want a wonderful wedding but are on a budget. So I hope this is helpful. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and let me know. Are you planning a wedding for yourself, for a family member? Are you a party planner and you're trying to find ways to help other brides that you're working with have a wedding on a budget? Let me know.